boy Mike, Jedi Knight, right? So I'm contemplating even doing this video, honestly, because honestly I feel like it's just kind of so cut and clear in a way. Of course, other people are gonna disagree, it's whatever. So this whole thing about guns and whatnot, banning them, restricting them, what to do to prevent them, what we don't want to do to prevent them, which I think is the most interesting part. If people are willing to not do, or you know what I mean, to prevent these situations where guns are killing people. So I'm not gonna throw a bunch of statistics at you. I don't really care about the statistics myself. I don't really keep track of them, whatnot. But I, of course, not living under a rock, I know what people are saying, and I know what people are not saying. So I'm gonna try to just go ahead into it. I don't have like a script or anything, of course. As you can see, I'm driving, but I do have developed opinions, and I've watched enough videos to know what mainly people are talking about and what people are trying to say. And I'm not saying my opinions are formulated from those videos. And the reason why I'm mentioning I'm even watching videos so that then you can understand there's not just me talking a bunch of fluff in the spur of the moment. There's something that over time, over hearing it on the news, hearing it on social media, I was like, well, I guess I'll go ahead and put my 2 cents into, and whoever can hear it, maybe it could be that avenue that they need to hear to change their opinion or see why they, should feel that they're right or wrong. And, disagree, it's whatever. But jumping into it, I'm going to straight out come and say, I don't think banning is going to do anything. One, because the most common argument, criminals don't obey laws, so why are they going to obey gun laws? And I believe them 100%. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and he was saying when someone makes a bomb and blows up the bomb, like in the Boston bombings, people didn't blame the bombs. They didn't say, oh, ban bombs. But yeah, no kidding. Really, you don't say, like, so why is it any different with guns? People are saying, oh, ban the guns, that'll fix the problem. Banning bombs doesn't fix the problem. You're already not supposed to be able to make bombs. Did that prevent the bombs from going off? No. Now, sure, you can make the argument, oh, well, bombs are illegal, so how many lives have been saved or not lost due to bombs being illegal, where someone can't just make a bomb and accidentally blow themselves up or accidentally blow up the neighborhood, whatever. Okay, fine. Yeah. But bombs are illegal and people are still dying. Lives are still being lost. So it's the same thing with the guns. And I know that might sound counterintuitive. I'm not a stupid person. I can hear what I'm saying. You're probably like, oh, well, if guns are banned, then maybe there'd be less deaths, just like the same thing with the bombs. And maybe you're right. But your maybe shouldn't inflict on mine or anyone else's right to use weapons, use guns. It doesn't matter what the gun is called, what it looks like, for my enjoyment, for my protection. I wouldn't need to make a bomb to defend my home. I wouldn't need to make a bomb to defend my person. I wouldn't need to make a bomb to defend my school. I would need to make a bomb to defend my workplace. Because you say, oh, well, why would you need a gun? Because more than likely a criminal is going to come in with an illegal gun and try to shoot up the place. If a situation like that were to occur. If they come in with the bomb, then you can try to make the argument, oh, well, if you're fighting for, equal power, then why don't you throw a bomb at him? No, you wouldn't say that. Because the bomb is an explosive weapon. It's an explosive device. It blows up an area of effect. It doesn't shoot one round downrange at a pinpoint target that I am choosing. Or in this case, that the person is choosing, the idiot behind the gun. So I think that point's made. Second point. Excuse me. Where was I going with that? Damn, I just had it. Give me a second to think here. So let's say you say that, okay, you know, all these shootings, the most recent shootings, what do they all have in common? Oh, the AR-15, the assault rifle. Which I don't understand why people are still calling it assault rifle. Enough media has been posted, private or not private media, but things like YouTube saying, hey, obviously this is not what it means, stop calling it that. Of course, the main media doesn't want to listen to that. They want to stick to their guns. Haha, pun intended. So, where was I going with that? Damn, I keep forgetting that point. Like I said, it's not on a script or nothing. I'm going to take all the time I need to say something. You can skip forward a few seconds. Right, so in common, right? Oh, well, the AR-15 was in all these shootings. Okay. You know what else was in common with all these shootings? Some jackwagon who's crazy to go and wants to go shoot people. You know what else is common in these shootings? The lack of good people with weapons. Oh, you don't say. And sorry, my car's making a bunch of noise. I'm pulling that anyways. So you can't sit here and say, oh, well, all these shootings had one thing in common, and that was a firearm. No, duh. That's why it's a shooting, because there's a firearm involved. And this is one of the major points I wanted to make. Any situation where you put in one shooter, one crazy evil person, not an evil gun. Last time I checked, machines don't have feelings or emotions or wants or needs. Last time I checked, we have psychological evaluations for human beings, not for weapons. So you can't say a weapon is evil. No. A bomb is not evil. That's why the United States military uses bombs. Claymore, C4. We use it. The person behind it has good intentions to protect what's right. No one says a thing. No one says a thing. Where was I going with that? So yeah, so you can't tell me, oh, well, you know, everything in common was, you know, was a firearm, when I can tell you right off the bat what else was in common was that. So back to the major point I wanted to make. Let's say no ban on guns, everyone's allowed to conceal and or maybe open carry. I personally, I don't know how I feel about open carry. I mean, I personally would, you know, I don't mind it being a thing. I don't know if I personally would do it, because I rather, if someone was going to come in to start shooting up the place, I'd rather not be targeted first, because I'm going to be one of their lines of defense against them. So I'd rather not paint that target on my back. But I'm all for it. If you want to open carry, you go for it. But you can't sit here and tell me, let's say everyone's allowed to, you know, carry, period, right? And let's say only 30% of the population actually goes along with it and decides to carry. Let's just say only 30%. And you probably even make that 20. Make it whatever percentage you want. So let's say crazy guy, gunman, goes into a bar or your favorite establishment, and he's like, hey, I'm going to shoot up people. And let's say there's a total 50, you know, just to make it even number, there's 100 people. 100 people in that establishment. Actually, no, let's say there's only 10, because since we're going with that 30%. Let's say there's only 10 people in that establishment doing whatever. and 30% of that, which is 3 people, decide that they're going to carry. That one gunman comes in. That's 3 against 1. And only the potential, well, it's still a potential of 10 victims. Because, I mean, just because you have a gun doesn't mean you're not going to get shot, obviously. But by the time that guy comes in and someone notices that he has a gun and his intent, those 3 people are going to go ahead and draw on the same dude. And chances are, even if he goes for them first, that's one guy with his average reflexes trying to shoot at one dude to drop him, while there's 3 guys who have weapons, 2 of which are not currently being shot at, also drawing their gun, about to shoot this guy. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? The good people with the guns. The good people. And that's just saying only 30% of the population that's allowed to carry weapons, allowed to legally to carry weapons, actually carries their weapons. And I'm willing to bet a hell of a lot more people than 30% of the population is going to go ahead and say, hey, if I'm allowed to carry, I'm going to carry. So let's be real. Let's be real with each other. Think logically. Don't think politically. Don't think irrationally. Use your senses. Criminals don't obey the law. That's been said over and over. I don't need to keep saying that. They're going to find a way to get a gun the same way that terrorists find a way to get bombs. And if banning was the answer, you would have to go as far as to tell the gun companies that make the guns, you got to stop production. And you know sure as hell they're not going to do that. Why? Because our government uses those weapons. Our law enforcement uses those weapons. They're not going to take the weapons away from our military and government or law enforcement. They're not going to do that. That's part of their MO. So why would they do that? And even if they were to do that, how many guns are already in production? So you would literally only be stopping those who are willing to abide the law, those who just want the weapon for either self-defense, hunting, entertainment, sport, and not evil. You're keeping them from being able to defend themselves, to defend their homes, to defend their families, to defend our schools, to defend our establishments. Now, like I said, I don't know the statistics. I'm talking about life because I don't need it anymore. I don't think neighbors coming out. Like I said, I don't know the statistics. I don't know if there's a known number or an average number of how many of these crimes. That was weird. How many of these crimes are done with people who legally own weapons? I don't know. I'll give you that one. I honestly don't know. I would actually like to know that number, because maybe I can make a more informed decision on that. However, I don't think that one number is going to make me want to just disengage my rights as an American citizen who has no will intent when using a firearm. I personally don't own a firearm at this moment, but I will. I want to. For sport, for entertainment. I like to go hunting sometime too. It's a good recreational sport. Of course, you got to respect the animal. But it's a good recreational sport. It's been something that's been with us. It's an American tradition. There's no doubt about that. A friend of mine at work made a good point one day, and mind you, this friend of mine, he's probably in his later 60s. And when he was telling me, his words exactly, way back when, I used to go to school, drive to school with my truck, and I had my hunting rifle on the back of the truck. No one batted an eye. No one said anything. Oh, that's normal. Sure, it was the culture back then. But why is the culture now, less than half a century later, oh, ban weapons because they're evil? You know how childish that sounds? Another point I wanted to make, this might be one of the dumber ones because this one I totally just came up on the spot, is if you and eventually it's probably even going to get to this point, honestly. It's the only reason why I bring this up. It might even get to this point. But you want to ban weapons, right? And you don't want anyone to have ill intent. And it's going to get to the point where you don't even want people learning how to use weapons or knowing even what they are. And when I say weapons, I mean firearms. Come on. At that point, you're going to have to start telling your little 5-year-old kid, oh, you know what? I don't want you to get that Nerf gun. The little foam darts. Because I just feel it's going to make him want to shoot a real gun, and we can't have that. That's too dangerous. Really? Really? And I personally haven't heard anyone say that. But seeing the way that all this political mumbo jumbo goes, I wouldn't be surprised if 5 years, 10 years down the road, that's where it's going to get to. Where we're too afraid to let our children have little foam darts play with each other. Oh, Jimmy, I don't want you to get the impression that you can shoot Lucy. Bruh. And you can see it, and you know what? I'll give you an actual example of how I know this is the mindset of the media right now. Because me, myself, I'm an avid gamer. And I don't even tell you anything against what I've played Call of Duty, Battlefield, Grand Theft Auto, and plenty more guns or games that include weapons and shooting and killing in-game. Shooting at people. Blood and gore, whatever. Do I go out and shoot people? No. Have I illegally obtained a weapon and have malintent? No. I go to work every single day, take phone calls because that's what I do, and I'm the nicest person you'll meet. Do everything to help you out. So, why is it when a couple years ago, and they'll still even try to pin it today if they can, the media, why is it when a shooting would occur, they say, oh, you know, one of those things that they all had in common? They played Grand Theft Auto. They played PS4. Really? Really? Oh, well, how did he know to use a weapon? Oh, well, he used to play video games. You know what else they probably had in common? They probably used to all drink milk. You know what else they had in common? They probably all had a mom and dad. No, that's not an issue. Really? You can't just keep saying, oh, well, someone's, this shooter and this shooter, this, person, that person had this in common, so that must be the common problem. That must be the issue. Because years before that, before television, before video games, whatever, and I know this because my grandparents would tell me, they say, oh, and I forget the exact example that they provided me, but they're saying, because they're on my side with this, they were pretty much saying that years ago, certain books or magazines or paper media, they wasn't allowed in school because it would feel like it would encourage them to do the things that they would read in those books. So now it's books. So as you can see, all it is that the media, for whatever their background reason, wants to blame the current main source of entertainment, knowledge. They just want to pollute themselves into it so then they can get what they want, what they feel is right. And they're just going to blame it. Right now it's guns. A couple years ago it was video games. Years before that it was television and movies. Years before that it was books. Just stop. Stop trying to infringe on my rights. If you would have told me, hey, you can't read that book, you're not allowed to purchase that book. Excuse me? You would tell me, hey, we can't allow you to watch that movie. And there's a difference between what I'm saying and watching an R-rated movie and playing M-rated games. Those ratings are in place to preserve the minds of influential children, or children that can be influenced, rather. Let's make sure You understand what I'm saying? But even then, I've watched my little cousin play Call of Duty. He's perfectly fine. Hasn't murdered his family. I mean. Hasn't shot up his school. Perfectly fine. Kid plays Rainbow Six with me. Another shooting game that involves tactical and methodical thinking. And I don't know how many studies have to be put out from actual scientists saying, hey, this medium is not bad for children. Your child's just fucking crazy. This person is just ill-minded. This person has mental instabilities. It's not the media that we consume. It's not our YouTube. It's not our video games. It's not our TV. It's not our guns. It's crazy people. Crazy people. And when I say crazy, I don't even just mean mentally ill. I'm so tired of these people finally getting caught and saying, oh, I'm mentally ill. I'm not going to go too much into that because I know there's high functioning and whatevers. And I respect that. I'm not going to talk down about people that have mental incapacities that are so high functioning and can work fine in our world. That's great. That's great. Everyone has a thing. Everyone has an issue. That's fine. But when you go and you just go and shoot up a bunch of things, does the gun develop a conscience and whisper in the person's ear, hey, go shoot up your school? And this most recent kid says, oh, the voices in my head said to do it. What? So the voices in your head said to do it, but common sense and anyone else would tell you, hey, this isn't right. You don't go to the schools and shoot people. But it's the gun's fault. It's the gun's fault. So you got to take away my gun and say, oh, well, one person ruined it for everyone. No. It's not one person ruins it for everyone. Not for this situation. That's like saying, like, let's say someone's weapon of choice was a key. Let's say they sharpened up their house key on concrete and they went and just stabbed as many people as they could in their school, at their work, something. When you tell me you can't have a house key now? Millions upon millions of people die from car accidents. We're still driving cars because that benefits the government, right? The government officials need their cars, their precious Lamborghinis. I don't drive Lamborghini, Jaguar, BMW, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. To make sure that they can get to work, to make sure they can get home to their families each and every day, each and every night, because it benefits them. Anyways, that's really all I got for now. And I say that now until I'm still in here another 10-15 minutes talking about something else, but I'm going to try to end it. But just like hear what I'm saying. Like, I'm not a crazy person. Don't take my guns. Like, I just don't get how you can say, oh, they all had in common this particular weapon. And then you're saying, like, oh, just ban this particular weapon. Just ban the AR-15. Okay, next weapon of choice. What's next? MP5. Again, I don't know the specific laws, so I don't know what's really allowed and what's not. But an MP5, like, any weapon can be chambered for the most part. Or not chambered, but be made so it's semi-automatic. And, okay, so let me get this out of the way. For all those who don't know, I'm going to tell it to you straight because I know this much. There's bolt action, semi-automatic, fully automatic. Those are the three main ones that you need to worry about. Bolt action is normally a rifle. Shoot the trigger, And then to chamber the next bullet, you have to pull up the bolt. Next one goes in the chamber, pull the trigger. Okay? That's bolt action because it requires you maneuvering a bolt. Semi-automatic. Let's go into grammar here real quick. The word semi, grammatically speaking, means half or partially, something that means it's not as its full potential. Semi, okay? The word automatic. Automatic means done repetitive. Over and over, does it by itself. In this case, a weapon that's automatic, with just one hold of the trigger. So half that. What's one step below that? Semi-automatic. That means you don't have to pull a bolt to rechamber each single bullet. It's boom, 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 boom. And then if you hold it down, boom. Oh, it's not keeping shooting. It's not still shooting. Release, boom. Semi-automatic. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. That's semi-automatic. Okay, cool. Established. Fully automatic. Boom. That's automatic. So let's get that straight. Like, if you're going to sit here and tell me what you're going to do, what you're trying to do to my guns, prove to me that you know what you're even talking about. Tell me that you know what you're trying to ban. If I were just to come out and say, hey, I don't want the show to be on Netflix, never even seen the show in my life, you'd be like, oh, well, have you even seen the show? I say something like SpongeBob. I say, hey, I don't like the name SpongeBob. I've never seen the show. Get it off. I never want to see it again. Who are you? I like SpongeBob. You can't tell me you're going to take away my SpongeBob. You're not even seen the show. It's a good show. Why don't you watch it? Right? You would suggest that. And yeah, I'm talking about SpongeBob, but input whatever you want. But I like how all the people who are trying to be a major influence on my choices as far as my firearms are people who have never even held a gun in their life. And on top of that, not only have they never held a gun in their life, they don't even, they willingly choose to be ignorant to the fact that they are saying things incorrectly. They don't want to know. They don't want to be corrected on bolt action, semi-automatic, automatic. They don't want to be corrected on clip versus magazine. Because to them, it doesn't matter. To them, it's like, oh, just get it out. Because that's what we want. Because we're privileged. Who are you? No, that's not how that works. So just put yourself in someone else's shoes the next time that you try to bring up the conversation with them. Truly. Truly. Play devil's advocate. I do that all the time. Because that's how I make valid arguments. I put myself in the other person's shoes and say, hey, if I were to be on the side of this, what would I say and why? And I could just say the same thing for guns. And I have. Even on this video, I've said what arguments I'll let you say. Just like I said, well, if all guns are banned and no one legally had them, that would cancel out the amount of deaths per year, or in all time, that were done with a legally owned weapon by the person who legally owned the weapon. I'll give you that. I don't know the numbers. But you know what? Still in that same situation, it's not the gun. It's the person. It's the person. So you can't just sit here and tell me, oh, well, we don't know how to psycho eval every single person that's going to buy a gun. Okay, that's still not the gun's fault. Sorry if someone that seems completely sane has a really bad day, gets really depressed, and then they decide to go. That's their decision. That wasn't the gun. The gun didn't whisper in the ear, hey, I see you're really mad that your family left you. Oh, I see you're really mad your dog died. Or I see you're really mad that this didn't work out for you. Go kill a bunch of people. The gun doesn't do that. So stop treating guns like they're the problem. Because they're not. It's the people behind them. Guns don't shoot people. People shoot people. Spoons don't make people fat. People keep eating with the spoon. You don't tell Taco Bell they got to go out of business because someone ate too much Taco Bell, had a heart attack, and died. Even if they chose to eat Taco Bell for every meal a day for 3 months straight and that's how they died. I'm not just calling out Taco Bell. Don't get political on me. You know what I'm saying. It's the people. And there's no way to 1000% eliminate people from killing people. There's no way. It's been part of humans since the beginning of time. Whether you believe in the Bible or not, and let's say that you do, the first murder was done with the second generation of humans. Adam and Eve's children, Cain and Abel. Cain killed Abel. If you don't believe in the Bible, just look back on your most recent or your most earliest recollection of someone killing someone. Look in the history books. Murder has been a part of the human society since humans began. It's just human action. I'm not saying that as an excuse to say, oh yeah, well, stuff happens. Obviously, that's not what I'm saying. If you've been paying attention, you know that's not my argument. What I'm saying is, you're trying to take away one of my rights that have been given to me by the founding fathers of this country so that then I can live free and do what I want. You're trying to take that away from me because there's no way to prevent it otherwise. Actually, not even otherwise. There's no way to prevent it, period. So there's no way to prevent it, period. At least allow me to defend myself. At least allow me to defend my family. Hell, if I lived alone with a bunch of cats and dogs, let me defend my cats and dogs. That's my right. And you have no right to take it away. In this country, I have the right to do whatever I want until it infringes on someone else's right. And that's something I learned a long time ago in middle school from my history teacher. Because two children got into an argument. And one was punching the other. And the teacher went to the principal and said, no, you're not going to suspend both of them. And I'll tell you why. Because he didn't throw the first punch. He was defending himself. Keyword, defending himself. You will not punish the student. And both parents came in, and even the parent of the child that started the fight said, no, there's no reason. There's no reason to punish the child that defended themselves. So why are you trying to punish me? I don't deserve that. I haven't shot anyone. And then you're going to try to throw the, oh, well, you know, you might. Okay. Well, I might make a bomb. I might shave my key, my house key, on the pavement. I might decide to just drive my car on the sidewalk. Obviously, I'm not going to actually do any of those things because I'm a sane person. And I have no intent to do that. And there's nothing that would anger me to the point where I would go and do that, where I could even consider that. You know what percent of the population has that good thinking, has that good head? 99% of the population. The other 1% is crazy people. And I'll give you that. But you're not going to sit here and tell me, oh, well, because this 1% of people are crazy, we're going to punish the 99%. And who are you? And who are you? So, like I said, see, I told you I was going to keep going. I told you. But I'm going to go ahead and end it there because I'm tired. I want to go home and play my Call of Duty. I'm going to go home and play my Rainbow Six. All shooting games. Because that's what I do. That's what I choose to do with my time. And if I chose to do with my time to go to the range, cool. If I chose to do with my time go hunting, cool. You got no right to tell me otherwise. So I challenge you to try to take that away from me. Because it's going to get to a point where you're going to try to take my rights away. And those with weapons, because it's in the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is not simply, you have the right to own a gun. The Second Amendment states we want the people to have the gun in case of a tyrannical government. And if you're going to side with the government that's trying to infringe on my rights that were given by my government, yeah, it sounds weird, doesn't it? Government doesn't want guns, so they're not going to have them when they try to come at us. We'll have the guns. And if you're going to try to come into my home and say, hey, we need to take these away, yeah, you can go ahead and try. You can go ahead and force yourself into my home. Give me a reason. Give me a reason. And you're probably thinking, it's not even going to get to that point. What are you talking about? No. It's my weapons that I paid for to defend myself. And if I feel threatened by my government, the Constitution states that's exactly what it's for. For when I feel threatened by a government that's gone senile. So you can try. You're not taking my rights. You're not taking my guns. It's not going to happen. Because you're going to have to come with me with equal power, but you don't believe in that equal power. You don't believe that equal power should legally exist, so how are you going to come at me? Literally, you're picking on someone that's larger than you. And you could say, you could almost say, pick on someone your own size. But it's funny because you normally say that to the bigger person. But the bigger person is those that have the weapons. So why are you trying to pick a fight with the bigger person when we're not even bullying you? You're literally trying to poke a bear. You're poking a bear. And the bear's just trying to sleep, enjoy his hibernation at the gun range, at his hunting grounds. And he's saying, hey, we're going to take this away from you because we don't have them. We don't want you to have them. We don't believe that anyone should have them. What's that bear going to do? You poke it enough? Exactly. And that's not a threat, obviously. Go ahead and try to take everything out of context. Whatever. You clearly haven't listened to the past 38 minutes of video. Don't poke the bear if you don't want to get swiped. Because it could be 10, 20 years from now. This is still going to be going on, maybe. And you say, turn in your guns, turn in your guns, turn in your guns. Like I said, there's not one situation where one evil person with a gun is going to outdo a majority population of people who are willing to do the right thing with their firearms. I'm going to end with this. That's what I'm going to try. One more example. Just so you get the feels. I bet you that in the shooting instance, and I'm not going to say all because it's never a 100% in statistics, but I bet you a good majority of the parents, of the staff, the people in general with healthy minds that were in one way or another apart emotionally, physically, of the school shooting would have felt safer knowing that there's more than one incompetent school officer on grounds to help defend them. Let's put this situation into a college environment where we're all adults.